Is there serious pressure on him tonight for the Forest game, Crookie, do you think?
Well, I think there has to be. I've written a piece for the talkSPORT website in my notebook this week suggesting that Erik ten Hag needs his own Mark Robins moment because, of course, it was in this fixture back in 1990 in FA Cup third round time. Mark Robins scores the goal. The legend is that keeps Alex Ferguson in a job. They go on to win the FA Cup, and the rest is history, as they say. And you feel like Ten Hag needs something similar because they've lost 10 games in the Premier League, Manchester United, 15 in all competitions. They were terrible in the Champions League. To finish bottom in a group they should have gone through in was some achievement. And then you listen to what the manager says after the game at the weekend. He said his team showed character and personality. No, they didn't. They did the opposite to that. And Angelina in that package was right. They lose a couple of key players in Rasmus Højlund in this case, and Luke Shaw, who I think is a really important component as well. And they will. That suggests to me there's no character, there's no heart in this team. And I think he's rewriting history a bit there as well. I don't remember too many people criticising him for bringing young Kobbie Mainoo into the team because that's what Manchester United fans want to see. They're a club whose history is built on promoting from their academy. The same with Garnacho. I think a lot of fans actually were crying out for Garnacho to be given a chance earlier than he was ahead of Marcus Rashford. So I understand that Erik ten Hag feels the need to come out fighting.
So talking about, sorry, Crookie, talking about Rashford, we'll come on to De Zerbi in a moment, but talking about Marcus Rashford, what is going on with him and Ten Hag? There's clearly a big falling out, a problem here.
Yeah, absolutely. I was told at the weekend from a very reliable source that they're not on the best of terms. I think that's been going on for a while, but I think it was exacerbated by what happened in Belfast, the incident where Marcus was pictured coming out of a nightclub in the early hours. Maybe wasn't completely honest with his manager about the circumstances surrounding that. He was dropped for the Newport FA Cup game, came straight back in for the following Premier League match against Wolves, scored a brilliant goal from outside the area. And you think, well, maybe, this could be the turning point for Rashford. The penny may have dropped. He's been awful since then. He was asked to play up front in the absence of Højlund. It's pretty clear in his body language. He doesn't want to be that number 9. But his lack of effort over the course of this season has been lamentable. And we've got an England squad about to be named. There's a European Championship come the end of the season. I don't think Marcus Rashford on form should be anywhere near that England squad. But I think that's a big problem for Ten Hag when he starts falling out with players like Marcus Rashford, seen as the poster boy, given that massive contract, seen as a player that United really need to build their future around. I think he needs to patch up that relationship pretty quickly and get Rashford firing.
You also talk, Crookie, about Sir Jim Ratcliffe, a big admirer of Brighton boss Roberto De Zerbi. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, who wouldn't be? You look at what Roberto De Zerbi has done at Brighton to get them into Europe for the first time in their history. Even this season, they're not winning as many games, but they've had a lot of injury issues. But their philosophy, what he wants to do. And I think he's got the personality as well. And I think that's really important when it comes to managing a club like Manchester United, because you've been there, Al. It's a club that can swallow you up if you haven't got that personality. I think De Zerbi has got that. I do wonder if Ten Hag quite has the charisma to carry himself as a Manchester United manager. What I would say is I think still a lot of the United fans are behind Ten Hag. He says he's not on trial for the rest of the season, but he simply has to be. If they go out of the FA Cup tonight, if they don't get anywhere near the top 4, which I don't think they will, they're going to ask questions to Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos because they want the best in class, and what they're going to be deciding between now and May is Erik ten Hag the best in class.
Crookie, I just think they've got a massive problem left side. If Martinez and Shaw aren't fit, they're bringing Lindelof in there, and because in an ideal world they'd probably want to bring Darlow over, but Wan-Bissaka's not fit. They can't get him. So I just think they look really weak in that left hand side, mate.
Yeah, I agree. It's been a problem all season because Luke Shaw just hasn't been able to stay fit, and unfortunately that's been a problem throughout his career. There's talk that Harry Maguire won't play tonight, so it's going to be a real patched up defence for Manchester United. It's interesting you mentioned Lisandro Martinez. He's a real fan's favourite, as much for his industry and for his leadership as for his footballing ability. And again, I'm told that when he's not in the dressing room, and he's missed a lot of games this season, it's a very quiet dressing room. There aren't too many leaders out there, and I think you can see that on the pitch, can't you?
Well, let's see what happens at Forest there. Crookie, thank you very much. Alex Crook there.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.